Lately, I've been thinking about something that doesn't get talked about enough when people discuss discipline. And no, it's not about motivation or productivity hacks, but instead it's about calibration. Because discipline is powerful. It can change your life, and I've seen it firsthand. If you build it over the years, it starts compounding, and you start noticing. You show up for things when you don't feel like it, you stop negotiating with yourself, and you become reliable. And that part works really well. But I think there is a point where discipline can start working against you if you don't revisit the thesis every once in a while. Most people look at weakness as the enemy. But of course, laziness, comfort, and distractions, those things exist and they do pull you off track. But not every signal to slow down comes from weakness. Sometimes it's information, because your body gets tired before your mind admits it, and your attention drops before your output does. And suddenly you feel flat, you feel restless, you feel anxious, even though you're doing everything right. And if your internal systems have been trained to only push, it interprets every one of those signals the same, as something to override. You see, when I feel like slowing down, here is what my mind is telling me. Work harder, stay busy, fill the time, and don't slow down. And that works for a while, but then it starts costing more than it gives. And the hard part is learning to tell the difference between resistance and feedback, because they're not the same. Resistance usually sounds like avoidance. It wants comfort, it wants things easy, and it usually goes away once you start. Feedback is different. Feedback comes after consistency, once you've been doing the work. And it doesn't say quit, it says adjust. And if you ignore that long enough, you don't become more disciplined, you become less present. A lot of people think that balance means doing less, and I don't think that's true. I think balance means being intentional about when you push and when you don't. Because if rest only happens when you're exhausted or burnt out, then that's not rest. That's recovery from the damage, and those are two different things. You see, recalibration doesn't mean losing ambition, and it also doesn't mean lowering your standards. What it does mean is checking whether the system that you built still serves the direction you're heading. If you look at discipline as a tool and not as your identity, you'll realize that it's meant to be adjusted and not worshipped. So if you are someone who works hard, stays consistent, and still feels off sometimes, that doesn't automatically mean that you're weak or that you're slipping. What it might mean is that you're in need for some realignment. Because learning how to listen without immediately overriding that signal might be the most disciplined thing that you can do. So, thank you for listening as always, and I'll see you guys next week.